Hello everyone, I am Monalisha Padi. I am a legal intern at Lexis and Company, and I am a student of Bharati Vidyapith New Law College Pune, and I am pursuing BBA LLB, and I am in third year. And today's topic is victim compensation. Rule of law, democracy, development and human rights are dependent on the degree of success that the governments are able to achieve on the criminal justice front. The objectives of the criminal justice are prevention and control of crime, maintenance of public order and peace, protection of the rights of victims as well as persons in conflict with law, punishment and rehabilitation of those adjudged guilty of committing of crimes, and generally protection of life and property against crime and criminality. It is considered the primary obligation of the state under the Constitution of India. India derived its criminal justice system from the British model. The penal philosophy in India has accepted the concepts of prevention of crime and treatment and rehabilitation of criminals, which have been reiterated by many judgments of the Supreme Court. Victims have no right under the criminal justice system, and the state undertakes the full responsibility to prosecute and punish the offenders by treating the victims as mere witnesses. Criminal law has always discouraged the acts or commission which in general can affect right in rem, and violators have always been punished with strict sanctions, but the crime rate is not falling and state is in regular quest to preserve social solidarity and peace in society. The initial focus of criminologists was only on the aspect of punishment, but the focus started shifting when they encountered with the fact that the person who is victim of crime is getting nothing out of the whole process of criminal justice system, or is getting a so-called satisfaction by seeing the offender punished. Therefore, jurists, penologists, etc. in all countries started giving their full attention to the cause of victim in form of compensation, and hence the whole debate started about ways, means and extent of compensation. Uh, uh, there is a brief law relating to compensation to the victim of crime that even existed in Asian civilization of East as well as West. As far as tracing of gradual evolution of the concept is concerned, the whole era till 1900 can be generally divided into three parts. In initial year of human civilization, when the humans started living together, especially after Stone Age, because of absence of rule of law and authoritative political institution, right to punish, or rather might to punish, was with the individual, and hence in crude sense the concept of compensation existed at that time even, but line of caution that need to be bear in mind is the fact that is a primitive society of criminal victim relationship was based on brutal mentality of attack being the best defense. Then came the era in which the social control in terms of mechanical solidarity crept in the society. The Indian position regarding compensation to victim of crime can be studied under two heads. First is legislative framework. The legislative framework in India regarding compensation to victim of crime can be traced through two major legislation, that is CRPC and Provisions of Offenders Act and Constitution of India. Under the provisions of CRPC, the power to reward compensation is vested under section 357. The plain reading of the section shows that subsection 1 and 3 vest power on the trial court to award compensation, and subsection 4 gives power even to appellate or revisional court to order compensation. Second is the judicial response. There exists plethora of cases where the compensation has been awarded by the Supreme Court to the victims of the crime. The first case in the line which attracted the mind of the court came way back in 1952, where the Honorable Court observed that while imposing the fine, court must consider gravity of offence and the pecuniary condition of the offender. Then came the case of Prabhu Prasad Shah vs State of Bihar, where the Honorable Court not only upheld the conviction of 15-year-old boy but also observed that although requirement of social justice demands the imposition of heavy fine, but taking into consideration the condition of the accused, awarded fine of Rs 3,000 to be paid by him to the children of the deceased. In another case of Paliyanappa Gounder vs State of Tamil Nadu, the Supreme Court, following the same view, not only reduced the amount of fine imposed by the Supreme Court from 20,000 to 3,000, but also observe that the first concern of the court after recording an order of conviction ought to be determine the proper sentence to pass. The sentence must be proportionate to the nature of the offence, and the sentence, including the sentence of fine, must not be unduly excessive. Thank you. That's all for the topic.